Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how to make this card. I'm calling it a floating screen card, and it was inspired by a card made by Anne Melvin. I've made one or two little adjustments to it, but basically the idea was hers. Apparently somebody called Steph sent it to her. And what happens is, on mine I've done a little card that opens up here. Okay, and obviously it's difficult when I'm videoing this way. So you can see what the top is like. Okay, that's the back. So this is all one piece, and it's got these little folds in it, which is where the floating comes in. So when you've got it sitting on the shelf, what it looks like is something like that. Okay, I'll keep that coming. Obviously it's moving as I'm moving, but that gives you an idea of what it looks like. It looks like a partial screen with the card at the front. The only thing I haven't put on here, which I would have liked to have done, is a sentiment, but I would have liked to have had something in gold saying Christmas greetings or Merry Christmas, vertically along here. I know that I could do the horizontal ones but just adhere it on vertically, but that wasn't what I wanted. So I might add something on here at a later stage, I don't know, but this is basically the card that I'm going to be showing you. The designer series paper that I've used is called Evergreen. Where did I write it down? Written it down here somewhere. I'm not sure it's Evergreen. Yes, Evergreen, and it is limited edition and will only be available while stocks last, or until the 3rd of January. And the paper that I've used for my flowers, this is the gold one, is Gold Shimmery Vellum, and that is still available from the Christmas catalogue, and it is actually reduced. It should be £4.75, but it's £3.32, so that one's still available. And the green is from the 2021-2023 in colour shimmer paper, so you get 2 sheets of all the 5 in colours. So you've got the Evening Evergreen, which is this one, there's the Soft Succulent, and Pale Papaya, Fresh Freesia, and Polished Pink. Okay, and again, they're still available as well. The card itself is really, really easy to make. It's just that there are so many layers on it. The finished size, so this suits whether you're using A4 cardstock or letter size. The finished size is 5.5 inches. Hold on, let me fold this. It is, yes, 5 inches by just over 5 3/4. It goes nicely into a 6x6 envelope because obviously there's quite a bit of bulk there. You may not like all of this, in which case you could just stamp the poinsettia and die cut that and add some leaves to it. It really is your choice. I am going to show you how to make the flowers though. I've done all mine ahead of time, but I'm still going to show you how to do that. So let's start. Oh, that's my first one. That's my second one. This was my first one, and this was before I decided to put these flowers on it. So I put my sentiment on, but I felt that it was lacking something, and eventually the penny dropped and I decided on these. But I just felt that was too stark. Didn't like that. Okay, so we're going to make this one. And when I refer to design 1 and design 2, design 1 of my designer series paper is the 2 outside strips, the centre strip, 2 outside strips, and the centre. Okay, and then this one is design 2. And I've used all the very, very patterned papers. I haven't used any of the generic designs that you get at the back. So, and this is my favourite one, and the reason I prefer this is because it's got the white and the dark, and I think it's a really good contrast, whereas these two just sort of blend in. The one I am doing now is going to blend in even more than this one, because what I'm doing is I'm using white with one that's got this, I think it's that design I'm using actually. So let me start off by telling you the card pieces you're going to need, but really trust me, it is an easy card to make. If I can just stand up there. The colour scheme's the same because I'm still using the Evergreen. So we're going to start off with a piece of, I will put the measurements in the box below together with the metric measurements as well. And the inches will suit you whether you're using A4 or letter size. So you need a piece of soft succulent, which measures 5 3/4 inches by 11 inches. You need another piece of soft succulent that measures 8 1/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 4 1/8 inches. Then you need 8 panels in evening evergreen, and these measure 5 5/8 inches by 1 7/8 inches. And then you need 2 squares of evening evergreen, and they measure 4 inches by 3 5/8 inches. You need another piece of evening evergreen that measures 3 5/8 inches by 1 7/8 inches. That's the one for the panel at the back. I left this here because I wanted to show you my envelope. What I found was it is good to have a piece of cardboard to go in your envelope, and left it that way so you can see it's a piece of card that comes with our 6x6 cardstock. And while I've got that far, before I finish telling you the rest of the cardstock you're going to be needing, I was going to trim a bit off of this, but I've encouraged it to go in. Now the way you fold this up to get it into your envelope, first of all you fold that piece there back, okay, like that. Can't really see that, can you? And just this is a bit like looking in the mirror trying to work out which side you've got to go. So fold that bit down, and then as you fold that one down, bring that one over to fold, and then again fold that one, okay, that one there, so that's flat, and then fold that one over. It does squash these, but even going through the post, by the time it gets to the other end, there's still going to be texture there. And then I just slide it in like this. I was going to make a belly band to keep it closed, but I decided against it. It does slide in here, okay, and it's most of the time it's going to be sitting on somebody's shelf anyway, so okay. And what I found was, without that piece of cardboard there, it moved because it's got that gap in there, okay, because that's moved a bit like that, and I didn't want that happening when it goes through the post. Okay, so there you go, that works, and that is a shop bought 6x6 envelope. Right, now let me carry on with the cardstock pieces that you're going to be needing. Well, I told you all the cardstock. Now you need the designer series paper, and this is design 1, so you need 4 pieces that are 5.5 inches by 1 3/4 inches. Design 2, 5.5 by 1 3/4 inches, so it's 4 each of those. And then you need 1, this is for the card on the front, again design 1, and that's 3 7/8 inches by 3.5 inches. And the other piece you need some basic white, which measures 3 7/8 by 3.5 inches, and this is for you to stamp a sentiment on if you like, or to write your greeting on there. And then the last piece is the design 1, and this measures 3.5 inches by 1 3/4 inches. Okay, so we will do the piece of soft succulent first. We're going to do some score lines, and then we need to do a little bit of cutting. So if you put your cardstock into your trimmer on the landscape size, and I have to, oh no, there we go. Can you see that? Yep. Let me move you up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that's a 2 inches. Score over to 4 inches. 4, and 4.5 inches. Score. Take your cardstock out, turn 180 degrees, and then repeat. So you've got 2 inches. Score. 4 inches. Score. 4.5 inches. Score. Okay, so can you see my score lines? Yes, you can, just about. Look at that. Okay. So what we now need to do is to cut a piece out of here and a piece out from here. Right, so what did I do? Lined the third score line, no I didn't, the second score line. I lined that up into my cutting track up there. If you want to be precise, which is probably a very good idea, line your cardstock here at 4 inches. And then you need to cut from 1 inch off to the edge. And then you need to open up. Let me just move my things out of the way. And then you need to line this up at 7 inches. There we go, so that's in the cutting track. Line this up at number 1. Score down, cut down. Then if you turn 90 degrees, so you've got your 2 cuts here. Let me show you. Okay, so you've got your 2 cuts there. What we're going to do now is cut from there to there, so this piece comes right out. So if you line your cardstock there up at your 1 inch, then you put your blade at number 4, and then you slice to number 7. And that should drop out, just like that. Okay? That's how easy this is. So turn your cardstock so that you've got your cut side on your left hand side, and no, cut side at the bottom. We're now going to cut that bit out at the top here. So again, line up at 4 inches, then cut from 1 inch. Let me come down again. There we go. Okay, so I've lined this up 4 inches, and the score line is lining up in the track there. So I'm going to cut from number 1 down to the edge, and I'm going to line this up at number 7. So that's in the cutting track. I'm going to put this at number 1 and cut. Now I'm going to turn so that I have my cut edges on this one. I'm going to line this up at 1 inch. I'm going to cut from 4 inches along to 7 inches. Yep, you can see that. And again, that should drop out. There we go. Okay, so that's all you need to do. Everything else is just a question of adhering everything together, apart, of course, from the flowers. So first of all, let's give this some really good burnishing. Now, with your score lines facing up. This is a valley that's facing upwards. A valley, yeah, I should be turning it over to fold it that way if I'm correct, but I'm not. So fold that one over. This is going to be the front of my card, so the first fold is going to be a valley, and make sure that these are straight and give it a really good crease there. And then the next one, you need another valley fold. Line them up. And then the next fold, you're going to need a mountain fold, so it's easiest to do it this way round. And again, it's very easy at this stage for this to make your cardstock go a bit wonky, so pay attention to that one. So I've done that. Now I'm going to turn back to this side, so I need a valley fold first of all. And then another valley fold. And then this little 1/2 inch fold, I'm going to turn it over because I need it a mountain fold. And this is the one, if anywhere, it's going to make it go a little bit wonky, which you don't want. Okay, so this is the base for your card. Alright, nice and easy. So let's start adhering all our pieces on here. Now I'm going to do design 1 first of all. I'm just going to put these in the way that I think they are the right way up. And I'm using Tombow, of course. If you want to use your Seal or Seal Plus, please do. Tweezers. So my design 1 is my 2 outside panels. This is a very quick card to make, apart from the flowers. Now you might decide that you don't like the flowers, or maybe you think there's too much with the flowers. To everybody, to each their own. But what I do like is when you do yours, it is lovely if you're part of my Happy Crafting Facebook group, so that you can share the cards that you've made. There will be a link in the box below where you can join, and it is open to all crafts, and if you're a card maker, then you don't have to be using Stampin' Up products. I know that there are lots of places that would love to have our products, but it's not going to be. Certainly not the foreseeable future, or at least nothing has been mentioned. But this can be made with any cardstock that you have that you think you can blend in. Like I've used 2 very heavily patterned papers together, which is something I would never have done at one time. But they go together so well. Right, where's the little one for that? That's this one. I'm going to put this one in. Oops. I have to say I do prefer getting myself so well advanced, well organised before starting my videos, so that I've actually written out all my measurements and everything. Now, I don't know which way is the right way up. That's coming down there. Right, that's it. So that one's going in there. There's no real reason for this. It's not for extra strength. It's just that it does look nicer from the back when you've got that one on there. Okay. In fact, that's another thing you could do. Instead of having a card on the front like I have done, you could just have the square, and then on that one at the back, this one, you could just use it, leave it as plain white, basic white, and then write your greeting on there. It would be at the back of the card, so not necessarily to be seen. Okay. I did mean to use some of the generic designs on the designer series paper that's on the backing of these floral ones, but I forgot. But I might be making another one, because before starting on the video I did cut one of these sheets just to remind myself what needs to be done. And also I have cut enough pieces to make a complete flower. I'm not going to do all of it with you because it was time consuming, but I can tell you how many pieces that you're going to need of each to do one card. Did I write it down somewhere? I did. What did I write it down on? Oh, there we go. So the tiny green flowers, if you want to do exactly what I've done, you need 6 of them. For the tiny gold ones, you need 13 of them. The large green 2, large gold 2, medium gold 1 and small 1. I think it was 25 flowers altogether. If you bear in mind I've cut enough for 4 cards. That's a lot of die cutting. Right, so I've still got to do the little card, haven't I? The designer series paper is a limited edition, just till 3rd of January. And while stocks last. I am amazed. I mean, I bought it. This is the first time I've actually started playing with it. But what really has surprised me is how Christmassy it looks. But there's nothing on here that screams Christmas. I mean, it's not as if there's any holly or berries. Mind you, I suppose one of those other plants may be Christmassy for all I know. I'm not much of a gardener. I'm happier growing vegetables rather than flowers. I just think this is really beautiful paper, and I love these 2 colours, soft succulent and evening evergreen. Okay, so this is the last one that's going on. There we go. So what we need to do next is to put the card on the front here. It's quite easy, but it is much easier if you use your grid paper. So what I've done is I just took 2 punches. Let me just make sure that's dusted, and I am going to line this line here with one of the lines on there. I'm going to use that one for the black line. Okay, so above there I've got 4 lines. I'm going to anchor that down so it stays. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down there. And make sure. Now these are 2 punches that are actually in the Christmas catalogue, and they are both being carried forward. I'm really pleased to say. Okay, so it's penguin and the deer. Right, make sure it's straight, straight, straight. Oh, got a hair. So what I'm going to do is, what I want is my folded part of my card to come a bit higher rather than this come lower, which I did with that other one. Okay, and what's going to happen is that edge and that edge are going to be coming over the end of the screen. I don't want my card to come up this high because I can see that. So if I put it about there, I've got 1, 2, 3 squares, 1, 2, 3 and a bit. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, obviously I'm looking at this at a diagonal way. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my glue on here. And I'm going to use my lines to make sure I get this straight. Okay, so I'm going to do that up at number 3. Make sure both sides are about the same. Up you go a bit, that's it. And then make sure that this looks like it's coming down straight. It looks a bit wonky. And that looks about the same. Right, that should be good. Okay, I can see an extra, almost ½ an inch down there. In fact, that is ½ an inch, about 1/4 of an inch then, isn't it? Okay, so press that down. And there we have our card. Okay. You can fold these backwards and then stand them up that way, but I prefer to keep it round this way. I like the way it looks like that. Okay, so there's my card, nice and easy. Now we need the flowers, and here we go, let me show you these. Okay, so that's that one all made. And I've got these are upside down at the moment because they've got glue dots on the back of them. Oops. Right, I've got one too many there, but that's okay. Pop that on over there. So what I was thinking actually is if I move this a bit higher and leave myself a little gap there and find a small Merry Christmas that I can put. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do on this one. So first of all, to adhere this on here, I'm going to put some glue dots first. I'm just going to put a few randomly around the edges, just to make sure that I'm holding all the little leaves down. And then I'm going to put Tombow on the top of it. I don't know if you've ever used this shimmer vellum, but it is really lovely. Can't remember what because I did do a video where I used it, and I did it so that I was using both sides of it because you got the different colours. Let's see if I can show you that. There we go, look, this is a good example. Okay, so that is the back of the vellum, and that is the front of the vellum. See, the front has got all that shimmer on it, and the back is just like vellum, really. Okay, so there's that there that I'm going to do. there's plenty of dimension on this without needing to use dimensionals. Right, so I'm just going to put a little blob on each glue dot. Right, and then I'm going to put some okay, so that's glue first of all onto all the little glue dots and then a circle there. And I'm going to turn this over. There's no right or wrong way, I don't think, on this. So if it's got one side that's more slim, so it leaves me a bit more room underneath there. Okay, so that will hold it down really nicely. Now with these ones, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same design as I have done before, and I am going to do 3 at a time. I'm going to put some Tombow on the back here. Okay. That's about halfway. You may decide that you want to put, oh, it's lost its stone, to do some down that side. The gems I've used here are from the brushed metallic adhesive back dots, and these are in the spring summer catalogue, and I have to say I'm going to be getting some more of these. I'm not sure, something tells me they're going to be carried forward, but don't hold me to that. Anyway, I've ran out of my small gold ones, not surprisingly, so I'm going on to these light greeny coloured ones, which I think, oh, and I also put a little dab of glue there first as well. Why do I do this? Really depends what kind of mood I'm in. I just feel that it makes it less likely that they'll come off. I don't always do it though, I have to say. Okay, so there's that one. Now these 3. Oops, come back. There we go. Please do think about joining my Facebook group, Happy Crafting, because I'd love to see what you do. There we go. Okay, so just a little gold across there, I think. And there we go, that is today's card. Now don't you think that is gorgeous? I think that is absolutely stunning. I will try and get some, if I'm going to do that, I will try and get that done before I post my blog tomorrow morning. Okay, so let's lay that down so while they're drying. So how do I do the flowers? Well, there should be 12 of those for the 6 flowers down the side, because I use 2, and then for the leaves I use 1, so there should be 6 of those. And then for the actual poinsettia, what I do is I do these for the leaves, because to me that's what poinsettias are all about. The middle petals are red, and then they're green underneath and they gradually turn red. Might be the other way around, but you know what I'm saying. And I finish up with some of these because I cut them off. Right, so let's just do one of these. Sometimes, again, depends what mood I'm in, I would just use my fingers to fold these in half. All the time they work, I'm quite happy just to fold. Other times I use my tweezers and I make sure that the ends of my tweezers are about halfway down the petal. And sometimes it's just easier to fold them, or sometimes I will just fold that back. It's not quite as even if you do it that way, but you just find whichever way you're comfortable with. Okay, and then I need one of these as well. Okay, so nothing taxing in this. And then to stick them together, I turn those over. Just give them a bit of a press down because I want to put some glue dots on them. Have you tried lifting one of these off and you know you've got your paper piercer underneath it, and then it comes off the roll quite quickly, and when you look at your paper piercer it hasn't got any glue dot on it. You can't find it, not anywhere. So I'm probably going around wearing one somewhere because that happened to me. Right, now I'm going to put the glue on the glue dots again. There we go. And I'm going to turn this one over and then just put the petals in between the gaps. I try not to go evenly because I want my leaves to show through. And just give that a press down and then try and push this one again in between the green ones. I'd rather have the two yellow too close together as long as I can show some greenery, but I don't get myself in a 2 and 8 over it. Okay, so that's a flower, just needs to have a gem in the middle of it. So lift that one up. Oh, now that I'm in the mood for putting Tombow all over the place. There we go. No, don't do that. Right. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Trying to put your paper piercer right on top to make it flatten down. There we go. Oops. Okay, so you can see some of the leaves, not all of them, but you get the idea of it. Okay, so that's that. And then for these, again, I fold them. These are a lot easier to do because they're bigger. I did do one of the flowers originally and I was just curling the petals upwards, and it really didn't look very nice at all because my first card when I did this, these were so high. I have had to flatten them down quite a bit to make sure they will go into an envelope. Right, so that's two of the big ones, and then one medium one, one small one. These are the ones I call tiny ones. Okay, so we have glue dots on these. These glue dots seem to be a little bit stringy. It's never happened to me before. And we'll have one of these as well because we want to put that in the middle. Did we fold you? No, we didn't. Okay, so it's fold these. As you can imagine, it's a die cutting that takes time for this. Okay, Tombow. I do go a little bit bigger than the dots on the bigger petals. So that's my first one. So I'm going to stagger these. And also when I do the die cutting of the flowers, because these are the dies. Okay, so each of the three main ones, you get an inner die, which is actually an embossing die. It doesn't actually cut. And what I do, and you'll know your own machine whether you need to do this or not, but when I do run the die through my machine, I put a shim with it as well. If I didn't, I wouldn't get much of a design on these petals. If you were doing parcels, boxes, things like that, this would be absolutely gorgeous with all this dimension on it. Okay, so let's just give that a few minutes. I'm going to put a big stone in the middle. Dot, actually, they're not stones. I think this just finishes it off really nicely. That was too much glue. A little bit of kitchen roll. There we go. Fortunately, that will dry shiny. There we go, that's good. Right, now for these, again, fold them. I don't use two complete leaves for these. I cut them into sections. Don't normally use, well, I do two, two and one. Okay, so that's two. And I probably change whichever ones I do. So let's have some more glue dots. And that was silly, wasn't it? Put it on the wrong way. Oh, rather than wasting time on the video, let's do another one. You need to put it on the front of the leaf. I will be able to use those other ones, it's just that it's more fiddly to do the back of it first. There's that one and there's that one. Then you can just pop these on. I don't bother about putting Tombow on at this stage, but you saw I put on extra glue dots before I put it on the front of my card. There we go. Let's do some of these singles now. Again on the front of the leaf, petal. Well no, when it's green it's a petal. When it's green it's a leaf, I mean, even. Okay, one more. Okay, what happened to that one? I just assumed that one didn't come off. So there we go. Oops. No, it wasn't. Was it you? Can you see? These glue dots are really giving me a run for my money today. There we go, that's better. Yep. Okay. I don't know. I'm not going to do it right now because otherwise I feel that I'm doing it as a panic move rather than a considered move. But I hope that's been interesting for you. I hope you've enjoyed to see how I've made the flowers as well. That's a little bit of a bonus. So let me bring my cards in. This is the one that I've just made. This was my second one. And oh, this is my third one. It's still in the envelope. Okay. And don't forget, that little bit of card in there really does make a difference. I wonder if I can just pull that out and show you what it's like without the card. There we go. So without the card, can you see how wobbly that is? And that's the length of the card there, and to me that is just, no, don't want that. So the card is a good idea. I'll sort that out later. You've seen how it does go in these. I have shown you that. So there we go. That's today's project. I hope you like it and I hope you give it a try. The actual card making is a breeze. It's a walk in the park. It's the flowers that need patience. If you don't have the patience, then just stamp them out, because the stamp set here, okay, you can stamp them out and build them, or you can stamp one like that. Okay, it's a great set to have. I wanted to find out whether it's being carried forward or not, but I couldn't find my leaflet, so sorry about that. If you've enjoyed my video and would like to be notified each time I upload a new one, please click on the subscribe button down in the bottom right hand corner, and then click the bell so that you get notified when I do upload a new video. And in the box below, as well as the inches measurements, I'll also do the metric measurements as well, and I will list out the products I've used. Don't forget which one was it I said it's reduced? The gold shimmer is reduced now, so if you haven't got any of that, you might want to get some. And if you place an order with me, first of all, thank you very much for your business. I do appreciate it. This is assuming you don't already have a demonstrator you work with. But if you do place an order and it's less than £150, please use my hostess code so that at the beginning of January, when I send you out my happy mail, I can also send you some free product as well. Okay, so many thanks for joining me today. I hope you give this a try. I look forward to seeing you next time. In the meantime, please take care, stay safe. It's not getting any better out there. In the meantime, happy crafting. Cheerio.